Imagine this. You leave everything behind, your job, your home, your comfort zone, and move abroad, chasing that dream of a slower life, cheaper living, and adventure. But what if the country you moved to suddenly started making it harder for you to stay? In 2025, that's exactly what's happening. More and more Americans are moving abroad, but some countries are quietly slamming the door behind them. Today, we're diving into 5 countries that are, subtly or not so subtly, pushing Americans out. And the reasons? Some might surprise you. Let's start with one of the top destinations for American expats, Mexico. Affordable living, beautiful beaches, tacos. 24/7, what's not to love? Well, turns out, locals are not loving the influx. In cities like Mexico City and Oaxaca, rising rents and gentrification have sparked protests. Digital nomads are being blamed for pricing out locals, changing neighborhood dynamics, and not integrating into the culture. And while Mexico isn't banning Americans, there's growing social pressure, and the government talks about stricter visa policies. You might still be welcome, but maybe not as welcomed. Next up, Portugal, a country that became a digital nomad haven. From Lisbon to Porto, Americans moved in droves, attracted by golden visas and dreamy coastlines. But now, that golden door is closing. In 2023, Portugal shut down its golden visa program for property investors, and rent prices in major cities skyrocketed. Locals protested hard, and by 2025, the government's shifting its focus. Fewer investor visas, more support for locals. Americans hoping to settle in long-term are feeling the chill. Thailand has always been a go-to for backpackers, retirees, and digital nomads. But the Thai government is cracking down in 2025. New laws require stricter financial proof to stay long-term, and digital nomads using tourist visas, not anymore. Add to that growing resentment among locals who see foreigners benefiting from their country without contributing fairly. The message? If you want to live here, you need to play by the rules. And the rules are getting tighter. Bali used to feel like paradise for Americans. Yoga retreats, smoothies, beachside co-working. But now, locals are speaking out. In 2025, Indonesia introduced new tax rules targeting remote workers, plus harsher penalties for visa misuse. And with cultural tensions rising, some expats not respecting local customs or driving illegally, the government is stepping in. From sudden deportations to visa denials, the welcome mat is getting pulled back. Quietly, but surely. Spain was the underdog of expat destinations, until it wasn't. Now, it's on every Move Abroad blog list, and Spanish cities are feeling the pressure. Barcelona and Madrid saw rent prices explode, with locals calling it a foreign invasion. In 2025, Spain tightened its rules for non-EU residents, especially around property investment and long-term stays. The vibe? You can still visit, but don't expect a red carpet if you're planning to stay without contributing. What do all these places have in common? It's not about hating Americans. It's about balance. Locals want to preserve their culture, their economy, and their way of life. And the rise of remote work means foreigners are moving in faster than countries can adapt. This pushback? It's a way for these nations to say, slow down, respect our space, learn our ways. When Americans move abroad, it's often in search of something they feel they've lost back home. Peace, affordability, a slower rhythm of life. And in many ways, that's beautiful. But there's another side to that freedom. Because sometimes, in chasing a better life, we forget that the places we land in aren't just backgrounds for our story. They're homes, real homes, with people, culture, struggles, and systems that don't exist to serve us. Freedom doesn't mean doing whatever we want, wherever we want, especially when the cost of that freedom falls on the shoulders of others. When Americans flood into neighborhoods, rent prices rise. Locals get priced out. Local cafes get replaced by overpriced smoothie bars. And suddenly, what was once authentic starts to feel like an Instagram set. And the saddest part? Many don't even notice. They live in expat bubbles, ordering food on their phone app, speaking only English, never learning local customs. They recreate America abroad and call it exploring the world. But the truth is, freedom, when it becomes entitlement, starts to rot. Ironically, the freedom that many Americans are chasing abroad, freedom from stress, high prices, or politics, is being met with resistance. Because when too many outsiders arrive, freedom starts to feel like invasion. And suddenly, you're not just a traveler or expat. You're part of a bigger problem that locals never asked for. So here's the deeper question. What does it mean to move abroad in today's world? Is it about escaping? Or is it about truly becoming part of something new? Learning the language, honoring traditions, giving back to the community? Because if we only take and never give, eventually, even paradise will close its doors. Living abroad isn't just about a cheaper life. It's about responsible freedom. And maybe, just maybe, these countries are reminding us of that. So, what does it mean to move abroad responsibly in 2025? It means pausing before we pack our bags, not just asking, what can this country offer me, but what can I offer it? Am I learning the language? Am I supporting local businesses, not just the ones that cater to foreigners? Am I respecting the culture, not just admiring it, but living it, even when it's uncomfortable? Because being an expat should never mean being a tourist forever. It should mean showing up with humility, with curiosity, with a willingness to belong, not to consume. In a world where countries are quietly pushing back, maybe it's not just about tighter visa laws or rising costs. Maybe it's a wake-up call to be more than guests, to stop treating the world like a product and start treating it like a community. So if you're thinking of moving abroad, do it. Explore, experience, but don't just move, belong. Because the best parts of life abroad aren't found on travel blogs. They're found when you're sitting in the back of a local bus, learning a new word, sharing a quiet moment, and realizing this isn't your escape. It's your opportunity to grow. So next time you dream of moving overseas, ask yourself, am I going to build or just to benefit? These countries aren't turning their backs. They're simply protecting what matters most to them. And hey, if this kind of story got you thinking, maybe that's a sign to stick around. I'll be sharing more eye-opening stories from around the world, stories that challenge what we think is normal. New perspectives, every week. Subscribe if you're curious.